Hi, I'm Chanchal Bose from Mostly Linux. This is the first part in a series on Docker platform. Docker fundamentals will cover what is Docker, deploying Docker container, core technology behind Docker, making Docker images for porting. Advanced part will cover developing containerized applications, Docker orchestration, and Docker cluster using Swarm. Docker Platform, a project managed by Docker Inc., made its first appearance to the world stage in PyCon 2013, where Solomon Hykes, founder of Docker, presented his now famous misspelled presentation. I have given a link to the YouTube video. Docker has been downloaded over 80 million times. It has spawned 128 user groups in 43 countries. There are over 800 developers voluntarily working on it, with 15,000 third-party projects on GitHub using Docker. All the bigwigs, Google, Amazon, IBM, Dell, HP, Red Hat, Yahoo, you name it, are vying for a pie of the most promising project in the cloud. Docker is an open platform for developers and sysadmins to build, ship, and run distributed applications, whether on laptops, data centers, virtual machines, or on the cloud. That's a lot of jargon. Can you repeat it, please? Okay. Docker is an open platform for developers and sysadmins to build, ship, and run distributed applications, whether on laptops, data center, virtual machines, or on the cloud. That's a lot of sales jargon. Could you speak in English for some time? Well, Docker makes it easy to quickly deploy a piece of software in a container using operating system level virtualization. Oh, there you are. Is not that what we are doing using virtualization? Well, to understand how Docker is different from traditional virtualization, let's go down a bit farther down the history. In the good old days, to install an application, we used to raise an order for a serious piece of equipment known as server-grade computer, then wait for its arrival, then install OS on it, harden it, secure it. Finally, our application is installed. If we need 2 more applications, you go through the same tedious process. Raise your order, wait, install OS, harden it, install the app, and there you are. Thank you very much. Then virtualization enabled hardware with Intel VT and AMD V appears. We bring them in and install OS, then install hypervisor using KVM, Xen or VMware, bring up the virtual machines, and all our applications moves to virtual machines. If more is needed, just bring up one more VM, install your app on top. So, in the good old days, bringing up a new application was costly and time-consuming proposition. Then those server hardware were straitjackets. Hardware requirements were always overestimated to take care of future scaling. More often, we ended up with severe underutilization. As virtualization arrived, advantages were pretty much evident. No more expenses on new hardware, no waiting time. We could configure our virtual machines to the precise size, disk space, RAM, number of CPUs. We can scale up or down disk space, RAM or CPU to our heart's content. Splendid. Somebody said, it's ultimate, boss. Or is it? After the initial euphoria was over, people who really mattered took a closer look at things. Let's assume we want 5 virtual machines with each 20 gigs disk space, 4 gigs RAM, and each consumes say 10% of CPU. Into 5. My goodness, that's 100 gigs disk space, 20 gigs RAM, 50% of CPU resources, even before a single application installed. And possibly 10% of the resources are being used by applications. Rest 90% is used by virtual machines as they are up and running even when the applications are not in use. At the end of the day, all we use are applications. If we have an option just to run our application without the appendage of VMs and OS, will accept that at the drop of a hat. So it's not the ultimate boss. Not really. Let's put aside hypervisor, virtual machines and OS. Put on our thinking cap for a while. Enter Docker containers. They are a drop-in replacement of hypervisor, virtual machines and operating systems. All you need is a Docker engine that integrates resource call of containers to the host operating system. Wait, aren't you trying to sell virtualization in another name with a twisted logic? Not really, sir. Docker is different. It's different. Docker containers does not require a hypervisor and avoids the associated resource commitment. That you have already said, carry on. Docker containers have small footprint Linux. So there you are. You also install an OS? Not really. Docker uses host machine's OS for I/O operation and Docker engine coordinates this integration. Docker engine? Isn't it hypervisor in another name? Not really, sir. It does not install any kernel driver and it's so light you can start hundreds of containers applications in a few seconds, even in not so serious hardware. That sounds real cool. Docker is an open platform for developers, sysadmins to build, ship and run distributed applications. Docker Engine, a portable, lightweight runtime and packaging tool that allows building your applications in a container. Build your application in a container in your laptop and just move your container as it is to any platform that supports Docker Engine, or even without it using Atomic Host or CoreOS. That's the beauty of Docker. But how Docker does it? Initially, it all started by developers at linuxcontainers.org. LXC containers developed by them offer an environment close to a VM without the overhead of running a separate kernel and simulating all the hardware. This is achieved through a combination of kernel security features such as namespace, mandatory access control and control groups. I have provided bits of what namespace and cgroup is all about. That's all for people out there seeking more. If you find them challenging, just skip them. I can assure you there are hundreds of Docker experts without an inkling of namespace or cgroup still doing great. Initially, Docker platform used LXC containers for Linux kernel hooks. Later on, LXC was abandoned as it is developed outside the control of Docker Inc. Developers of Docker Inc. introduced Leave container as a part of Docker engine. More importantly, it was done as it opens up the possibility of porting Docker engine even to Microsoft Windows or Mac. As of now, you can use Docker on Windows using helper application in GitHub named boot to Docker. We'll see that when doing practical exercises in our next session. By the time you finish viewing this video, everything that I said could be out of date as things are happening so fast around Docker. In my next installment on Monday, our journey starts with a practical session of Docker installation on Ubuntu and CentOS. You can always get in touch for incorporating any aspect of Docker in my upcoming sessions. You may well subscribe to my channel to get updates on new uploads. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.